Hey guys, what's up? Nullrage here, bringing you a skill preview for Psylocke, new hero coming to Marvel Heroes. If you've seen my Wolverine review, you already know that I am a little bit under the weather. I came down with a cold over the weekend, so bear with me and all that during the skill review, and hopefully it won't cause too much problem. So let's hop in and have a look at Psylocke. Alright, so first things first, let's have a look at her synergies. There she is. Her level 25 synergy is going to be 3% mental damage, and her level 50 synergy is 3% physical damage. Very interesting. I don't think any other characters in the game really use this combination, mental and physical. Yeah, I can't really, maybe Ghost Rider, to some extent. Yeah, Ghost Rider, I think, uses a little bit of mental and physical. I think everybody else, though, is, usually energy and physical or something. There's quite a few of those, but Psylocke is one of very few mental and physical characters. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put 1 point into every skill, and I can already feel that itch in my throat, that cough. It's coming. Alright. So anyway, psionic constructs. Let's have a look. Let's put all these on the bar. Yeah, whatever. That's a passive. Alright, we'll go over that in a second. Alright, so first things first, let's go over the passive in the tree. Telekinetic prowess. Apply your tirelessly honed psionic abilities to enhance your combat capabilities. Wow, I'm blazing today. So on this pronunciation thing, got it. You have no idea. Alright. Increases your psionic energy generation effects by 3%. Also does mental damage per second for 6 seconds when you hit with a psionic construct power, which is these. Mental damage rating for 8 seconds when you hit with a Psy Strike or Tsunami Slash. And range damage rating for 8 seconds when you hit with Psionic Bow or Crossbow Construct. Interesting. So it's just a little bit of a buff. You know, you've got melee damage or ranged, and then you've got a mental bleed, as well as an increase to your energy generation effects. Scaling incredibly. Look at that, up to 60% increase to that energy. This is probably going to be a maxed out offensive passive, I'd say. Alright. So let's get to the actual skills. Let's see how they work. Psy Strike, we heard about that one. Lay into your enemies with 3 swift and lethal strikes from your Psy Knife, doing mental damage per hit. Does a total of 3 hits, and 40% per consecutive strike. So it looks like this is going to be a triple strike kind of thing. Now, what happened here? I quit using it because I ran out of psionic energy. Psionic energy is generated over time when you hit with a ninja, assassin, or telepathy power. Psionic energy is spent on psionic construct powers. Okay then, so you have to use these trees, these skills, to generate power for these skills. Interesting. There are some, you know, if you want to stick to one tree, then there is one option. This is going to be your basic attack and generate some psi energy. So you can use your constructs.
Yes, I am that fast.
You can see this is Psi Knife, just a basic attack that generates a little bit of Psi energy. Alright. Next up we've got Crossbow Construct. Manifest a Psi Construct crossbow and impale enemies with ethereal bolts, doing some mental damage and increased damage against bosses. This is going to be your boss killer, possibly. Let's back up and show that animation off a little bit better. Well, it's pretty heavy on the cost here. Yeah, this is just a little bit of a demonstration why you definitely want to max out this skill right here, Telekinetic Prowess, because that'll increase your psionic energy generation quite a bit. Otherwise, I feel it's going to be very difficult to get the psionic energy that you need. Alright. There's that skill. Pretty cool. Alright, next skill in the tree, Tsunami Slash. Sweep your ethereal, boom. Ethereal katana, causing a shockwave of mental energy to stun your enemies, doing some mental damage, increased critical rating for this power, and stun duration. Its cost is quite high, taking 300 psi energy to use it.
My, you're slow.
But it's got a nice AoE cone in front of you, so you can see the range of it. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Let's go over here and get some more psi energy. Alright, and next up in the tree we've got, that was Tsunami Slash. We went over Psi Knife, we've been using it quite a bit. We went over the passive. Next we've got Psi Thrust. Lunge forward with your Psi Knife outstretched, stunning enemies in your path. When you hit an enemy with your next attack generates extra Psi energy, cannot trigger from lunge. Okay, so if you use Psi Thrust, oh, that is so cool. Its spirit cost is fairly low to begin with, but when you use it, your next attack, like Psi Knife here, will generate extra psionic energy. So let's just see how quickly I can fill it up after we use. Well, we'll use the next attack of the tree to drain it. Draw a bow of psychic power, concentrating there's an R in there that shouldn't be. Concentrating your energy as you draw. Unleash the shot to devastate enemies with the thunderous blast of the shot. It's going to do some mental damage and increased. This is another charge power that does 200% damage when fully charged. Let's have a look at that. It's going to pierce through all enemies. Oh, and 2 shots. 2 shots and your bar is empty. So, I'm not really sure how useful that's going to be, but we'll see. Now, to get my energy back up, I'd want to use Psi Thrust, followed by Psi Knife. Alright, so that does get the energy back up there pretty quickly with the extra stuff you get from Psi Thrust, followed by a Psi Knife, which is a generator anyway. Next up, we've got the Ninja Assassin tree. Now, Ninja Assassin and telepathy powers usually generate psionic energy. So if you're using these, you're going to have a lot easier time using these other construct abilities, probably. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they work. Most of the psionic constructs so far have used psionic energy as their power. These are probably going to use spirit. So give me a second to get these on the bar and to cough. Alright, so we've got Deadly Assassin here is our first passive. We'll go over that in a minute. Let me get the rest of this on the bar. Okay. That's got all that. So, Deadly Assassin is passive in the tree. Your training as a ninja makes you a formidable combatant with the ability to dispatch foes with only a few swift, decisive blows while fighting defensively. It's going to give you some crit rating, going to give you some crit rating damage, or crit damage rating, and some defense when you hit with a melee power. And here's how that's going to scale. All in all, pretty decent passive. I could see the defense being a little bit higher. I think at least 1,000 defense is not asking too much, personally. Alright, so let's go over the abilities. Ninjutsu Strike. There we go. Subdue enemies with swift strikes of your lethal hand-to-hand combat techniques. Gonna do some physical damage and some base damage. 50% for 6 seconds when you use a stealth power. Oh, she's gonna use stealth powers. I guess that's one right there, psionic projection. Let's go over that real quick so that we can see the bonus damage on Ninjutsu Strike. Definitely evade enemies by silently tumbling away, leaving behind a psionic decoy to confuse your enemies. Stealth duration of 1.5 seconds and 150% health and defense for the summon with a 6-second duration. Cooldown of only 4 seconds. Effectively making this a permanent stealth stealth and retarget thing if you want it to be. Here's Ninjutsu Strike normally. Pretty cool animation. The damage somewhere around 5,000. Now if we stealth, then the damage goes up for quite a long time, actually. That was Shadow Step. That wasn't even the right ability. Alright, there's the right ability. The one we remember. Alright. So let's move on to Shadow Dash. Melee movement. Dash through adversaries in the blink of an eye, leaving behind gaping wounds and on knockdown enemies. It's going to do some physical damage and some shadow damage. That's a new damage type. Shadow damage, huh? Interesting. This is the first time in the game I think we've encountered something called shadow damage. It's also going to have a little bit of a knockdown, it seems. Or does it do extra damage to knock down enemies? I don't know. Anyway, there it is. Wow, that is very cool.
One moment, please.
Alright. Next up, we've got Carrie. We got some melee attack thing that I can't pronounce. Oh god. Unleash lightning-fast blows from your katana intended to swiftly dismember and dispatch unsuspecting enemies. It's going to do some physical damage, 2 hits of physical damage, and the damage will increase when you use a stealth power. Cool, cool. Let's, actually, I've skipped one in the tree. Oh no, I'm failing, but we'll go back to that. Let's see what, this one looks like first. Just your basic double slash, cool. And when you're stealthed, the damage increases. Alright, next up we've got, let's go back to Falling Lotus Strike, because I skipped it, because I'm a failure. Alright, Falling Lotus Strike, twirl through the air with your katana, cleaving enemies in half with a flash of your blade on landing. Initial physical damage and bleed. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that animation. No, no, no. Hey, quick, get out of the way. Let's just go over here. Wow. That is so cool. And it looks like the distance that you travel depends on how far away your cursor is from your character. That is way cool. I love that animation. Great work on that. Y'all probably see me using that a lot. Falling Lotus Strike, simply because it looks so cool. I don't know how effective it's gonna be, but it's got a wonderful animation. Next up, we went over Psionic Projection. We went over the passive. Alright, let's go Shadow Step. I've been using this a lot and we haven't even gone over it. It's just a basic stealth. Also breaks CC, 15-second cooldown. So it's a stealth and a CC breaker. There you go. And next up, we've got Katana Typhoon. Swirl your katana in a blur of deadly steel, slicing through nearby enemies. Physical damage and some shadow damage. Activating this power does not break stealth. Wow. What? Activating this power does not break stealth. Alright. So let's see Katana Typhoon. Does have a cooldown on it, but does not break stealth. You can get 2 of those off in the time of Shadow Step. I'm not sure how effective that can really be. I was sitting here thinking about a power duration thing, increasing the stealth duration so that you could stay permanently invisible while using Katana Typhoon to damage things, but that seems a little bit... You'd have to work hard to make that build work, and I'm not sure that it would be all that effective. Anyway, next move in the tree, Assassinate. Dash to an enemy and thrust your blade through their back, quickly dispatching them. Can only be activated in stealth. Does massive physical damage and stuns. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, that was a little bit wonky. Okay, that was pretty cool. I don't know though. The animation could use a little bit work because it's just sort of like zzz, kink, and that sound. I don't know, dude. That's not sure. Not sure. Very cool concept though. I like that increased damage when stealth, or can only be used when stealth rather, and for it to have massive damage, and it's pretty cool. Alright, next up we've got the telepathy tree. You know, we've seen her physical moves. Let's get to her telekinetic moves. Nope, you go there. What are you doing? Alright, we've got a passive here, Psionic Resilience. Your ability to telepathically scan enemies' minds gives you perfect clarity in battle, allowing you to deftly weather any enemy assault. Your empathic link with allies allows you to heal them while using psychic powers. You're able to see enemies on the minimap. You gain a defense rating, double bonus for mental defense rating. Okay, cool. So 240 defense and 400 and some odd mental defense. Or actually, it just gives you the defense and then also gives you that amount to mental as well. Also gives you some dodge rating, and you and your allies regenerate health over 3 seconds when you hit with a mental power. Anytime you do mental damage, you're going to regenerate health for you and your allies. A lot like Emma Frost. And I've played Emma Frost with this kind of ability in mind, and it's very, very useful, especially in X defense. It's going to make Psylocke here another sought-out team player. Very cool. Next up, we've got yeah, that was the passive. So let's start looking at the actual abilities. Sorry, my brain's all frazzled right now, guys. Psionic Assault. Crush your enemies' minds with madness by gently fanning the flame of their darkest fears. It's going to do mental damage twice per second. It's going to slow and weaken, and debuff duration is 6 seconds. Here's what that looks like. Can we cast anywhere?
I've barely begun.
Yeah, it looks like it can.
You've already lost.
Okay.
Feel that?
Next up, we've got Psybolt, a basic ranged attack. That's pretty cool. It's going to restore extra spirit per hit, but, you know, mainly the thing that this is going to do is allow you to play a ranged Psylocke if you wish to, because you'll have a ranged basic attack. All of our other basics have been melee. Alright, so we went over the passive. Next up, we've got Psionic Vortex, doing some mental damage and applying vulnerability. Consume enemies in a deadly implosion of psionic energy. Let's have a look at that. Now, that is a huge area, and I'm thinking this is going to pull enemies in. I'd have to go to Midtown to be sure, but I see these test dummies resisting. What I think they're resisting is the pull. I mean, considering it's a vortex, it would only make sense for it to pull enemies in. So that's really cool. Especially when combined with suck them all in and then throw down AoE on top of them. Two very cool synergetic abilities. Next we've got SCI Crush. Crush enemies with sudden blasts of psionic fury, devastating enemies weakened and weary in combat. Doing some mental damage and extra base damage to slowed and weakened enemies. Looks like it's single target. Where are my weakening effects? Let's apply a weaken. There we go. Psionic Assault.
Painful.
Oh wow. The damage goes up quite a lot when you're, you see there it is at about 5 to 7. And, once my spirit goes back up. 5 to 7 was the damage with no applications of slow or weaken. But just with one skill, you're going up to a baseline of about 10k. Yeah, that's going to be a very nice ability. Again, very synergetic with her Psionic Assault move. The rotation for me with these abilities seems to be Psionic Vortex, Psionic Assault, followed by SCI Crush on a boss, if that's what you're doing. Let's look at the rest of the skills. This is our signature, Hurtled Butterflies. Release psionic butterflies that gently flutter to enemies and suddenly reveal their deadly purpose upon exploding near unsuspecting foes. It's going to do some mental damage per butterfly. Create 25 butterflies, and the cooldown is 25 seconds. Again, a fairly low cooldown for a signature. Very nice. The only thing that scales with level is damage. I haven't been checking these to see what scales with level. Seems there's not really much. This one, the duration would scale, and that would be nice, because alright, so let's have a look at Hurtled Butterflies. Oh, that is so cool. So they just like fly out and do their thing, heat seek out enemies. That's really cool. Alright, next we've got Psycho Blast. Release a blast of psionic energy in a brilliant and deadly cone, destroying swaths of enemies at a time, especially those who have already been crippled. It's going to do some mental damage. Enemies who are both vulnerable and weakened receive 50% extra damage and are knocked back, and are stunned. Alright, where's that one? F. Alright, so again, playing into that rotation that I was talking about earlier, where you Psionic Vortex people in, then you Psionic Assault them, and then you'll follow up with a Psycho Blast. Let's just first see how Psycho Blast looks on its own. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright, so if we apply Vulnerability and Weaken,
I know that
we're doing a lot more damage. Very nice. Alright, and the last skill that Psylocke has access to is going to be her ultimate, Psionic Maelstrom. Summon a dazzling kaleidoscope of psionic butterflies, with you as their center point of their flight paths. Enemies caught in their swarm are quickly cut down by the overwhelming and deadly psionic energy. It's going to do mental damage twice per second. It's going to slow and also buff you. You're going to generate 200 psionic energy per second. Again, psionic energy is over here used on your psionic constructs, and give you quite a bit of damage rating. Let's just quickly have a look at that. That's pretty cool. Huge mental damage to everything around you, giving you psionic energy, allowing you to spam your constructs. Cool stuff. Overall, Psylocke, a very, very awesome character. She's going to have 2 launch costumes. This is going to be her default costume. I do not know 100% what the other one looks like. I think it's... I don't even remember. She's going to be... Possibly, I believe she's going to be 400 Eternity Splinters, for anybody that's wondering. What does that make her in G's? Does that make her a 900G character? I don't know. Sorry, I don't have better information on these prices. I wish I did. She is going to be very cool, though. Psylocke. Hope you've enjoyed this skill preview. Don't forget to rate, comment, share, subscribe for more videos like this. I will see you guys another time. Until then, take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.